She was so great.
A 16-year-old remembered as a rising star.
I'm just sad that the world is now deprived of what a sweet girl she was.
A Loveland teacher honors her student, tragically killed in a domestic dispute.
It feels honestly like losing a child.
Aurora police head in the right direction.
There has been a recognition of a need for change.
And still have a ways to go when it comes to improving the department.
What we found in this initial report is that we still have work to do.
And the Broncos' wide receiver bad luck streak continues. The team loses a star player from a practice injury.
A guy like Tim, who's such an amazing leader, that has done everything we've asked, it breaks your heart.
Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. We're going to begin with an act of domestic violence that has devastated the Loveland community.
A mother and a daughter, 41-year-old Lindsay Dom and 16-year-old Meadow Sinner, were shot and killed last week in a home while other children hid from the attacker.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon talked with one of Meadow's teachers, who says this 16-year-old was truly one of a kind.
In a quiet Loveland neighborhood is a memorial for 2 lives taken too soon.
Meadow's Meadow.
Meadow Sinner was only 16.
She was very vocal and very outspoken.
Christy Thompson says Meadow, as a freshman in high school, was one of her favorite students.
So many kids were just afraid to talk, and everybody had masks on, and it was so weird and awkward. And Meadow, being herself and being outspoken and ready to give her opinion at any moment, helped us all as a class kind of come together and get to know each other.
A personality that couldn't be contained to any classroom, but that Thompson feels lucky to have experienced.
It's bittersweet to talk about her.
When she found out Meadow was killed in an act of domestic violence this past week, devastation is the word that comes to mind.
It feels honestly like losing a child. I'm still going through all of the emotions that grief brings, and I'm angry, but mostly I'm just sad that the world is now deprived of what a sweet girl she was.
Reflecting on lessons her student taught her.
Someone needs to tell the world how amazing she was. She was so great.
And truly understanding the impact a student has on a teacher.
And I'm really hoping I don't have to go through this again.
Holding on tight to her memories of Meadow, knowing this young girl deserved the chance to make so many more. Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
There's a GoFundMe account set up to help the family. 4 children now have been left behind after the shooting, and all of them are under the age of 14. We have a link on how you can donate right now on thedenverchannel.com.
Lakewood police are asking the public for any information on these 3 homicide suspects. They were caught on surveillance video this weekend after 27-year-old Ramon Contreras was shot and killed at a car wash off of Sheridan Boulevard. Police believe the 3 also tried to rob several people along West Colfax. If you have any information, please call Lakewood PD. And Aurora police are now trying to identify a man who tried to light people on fire at a gas station for speaking Spanish. Police are calling it an apparent hate crime. This happened back on July 23rd at the Rocket gas station on South Havana Street. The suspect confronted customers who were speaking Spanish and told them, quote, "They don't belong here." He then allegedly followed the customers back to their car, sprayed them with gas, and looked for a lighter to set them on fire. So please, anyone with information is asked to call Aurora Police at the number there on your screen.
Denver Public Schools has agreed to pay $2.1 million to settle allegations that the district misused federal funds. A 2018 investigation concluded that the district misused AmeriCorps funds between the years of 2015 and 16. The Department of Justice found that DPS falsely recruited its own employees to serve as AmeriCorps volunteers, and that those employees falsely claimed they performed the hours necessary to receive that federal funding. So in addition, DPS will pay $600,000 for losses sustained by AmeriCorps. Now, in the terms of the settlement, DPS admits no liability.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan, even though China had warned her not to visit and threatened retaliation. This is the first time a U.S. House Speaker has visited Taiwan in 25 years. China has made claim to Taiwan as its territory, and in response to her visit, China has announced military drills in the area between Taiwan and China.
We will take whatever we can to respond and to protect, to safeguard our sovereignty, territorial integrity. And our response will be very firm, strong, and forceful.
We're going to make sure that Speaker Pelosi's trip, the whole trip, is safe and secure for her.
Pelosi said the visit was a sign of the U.S.'s unwavering commitment to supporting the island's democracy. Denver voters will be asked in November if they want to approve a property fee increase that would go towards fixing the city's broken sidewalks.
So today's city elections announced the Denver Street Partnership had submitted enough signatures to get this on the ballot. So as it stands right now, it would take the city about 400 years to build, widen, and fix all the sidewalks. Under this new proposal, homeowners would help the city pay to fix the sidewalks, and it will take 9 years instead. A typical single-family home could expect to pay an additional annual fee of about $107 or about $9 per month for this. Well, the Broncos are going to be without one of their stars this season. After making a catch in practice, wide receiver Tim Patrick injured his right knee when he took off running. Ended up tearing his ACL, so that's it. He's out for the season.
And Broncos insider Troy Rank breaks down what this means for the team moving forward.
The Broncos' first day in pads on Tuesday brought only disappointment. Standout receiver Tim Patrick suffered a torn ACL in his right knee during team drills. He will be lost for the season.
You know, a guy like Tim, who's such an amazing leader, that has done everything we've asked, you know, I mean, it breaks your heart because you love it. Now, on the flip side, he gives somebody else an opportunity to really grow and become a great player, because that's what we're going to need. So I think that whenever you have these things happen, it's about supporting the man, because we are about the entire team, but then at the same time now flipping it out and going, hey, now everybody's got to pick it up and somebody's got to show up.
You know, it hurts. You know, you see a guy who works his butt off all off season. His preparation is second to none. You know, he does everything he's supposed to do to be able to put himself in a position to go out and be successful. So, you know, to see him go down with an injury, it's very unfortunate, and, you know, we're just praying for the best.
It's impossible to overstate the loss of Tim Patrick. He scored 11 touchdowns the past 2 years. That led all Broncos receivers. In his absence, Jerry Jeudy needs to step up, and they need a healthy KJ Hamler at some point in September. Reporting from UC Health Training Center, Troy Rank, Denver 7.
And Tim Patrick now joins the unfortunate list of Broncos wide receivers who have had season-ending knee injuries in recent years. Back in 2020, Cortland Sutton tore his ACL while making a tackle against the Steelers in Week 2. The very next day, the team announced he was out for the season. And in 2021, KJ Hamler was out after Week 3's game against the Jets. His injury, also a torn ACL. Hamler just returned to training camp for the first time yesterday, saying football, quote, brought him back to life.
Another Broncos news for you. 7-time Formula One world champ Lewis Hamilton is joining the Walton Penner Broncos ownership group. On Twitter, Hamilton said he is excited to be part of this team. His dog, as you can see, also getting the spirit, also has a Broncos jersey and bandana.
Yeah, nicely done. NFL owners are expected to meet a week from today to officially vote on the group's $4.5 billion ownership bid.
Many of their program participants are turning off their cooling systems, turning off fans.
Making the tough choice to cut the AC this summer as bills keep getting higher.
Turning off, you know, just really basic ways to stay cool because of the, you know, fear of having an unaffordable electric bill.
The Colorado nonprofit working hard to keep as many people as possible cool this summer, despite the rising cost to do so.
After highs in the 90s today, we'll stay in the 80s for the next few hours. And then we have some big changes coming by the end of the week. I'll have that forecast for you coming up.
And hate robocalls?
Colorado's Attorney General doesn't like them either and wants to put an end to the unwanted calls.